You're listening to the Friends After 40 podcast, where every episode feels like a conversation on your couch with close friends. So grab your coffee or your cocktail and come hang out with us. All right, good Sunday afternoon, friends. What's going on?
What's up?
We got a lot of giggles coming out of this side of the room on a Sunday.
Because what was yesterday?
It was National Margarita Day.
Yes, it was.
National Margarita Day, and we celebrated it.
We sure did.
We did.
We celebrated.
That puts it lightly. You girls got it in last night on the tequila.
Was just saying
Listen.
Y'all didn't?
It was a bit of a spectacle. I mean, it was something we kind of... I mean that in like the
Really?
funniest, cutest, best way possible.
Did you though?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, how was a spectacle, funniest, cutest, anything ever?
I would just say that it was a fun night.
It was a great
And
night.
you could-
the parts that I remember, yeah, it was great.
You can see, you could clearly see that people were having fun.
Yeah,
Oh my
So
gosh.
that was awesome.
it was good. I mean, we
was
had
good.
like chips and guac and salsa and
Yeah,
what
we
else?
did it. We did it.
Quesadillas. Yeah.
Quesadillas.
Empanadas. Yeah.
You would have thought it was Cinco de Mayo.
That's
Right?
what I said in my head.
Yeah.
I was like, this feels like Cinco de
I mean,
Mayo.
when you think about a margarita, what are the things that go with margaritas?
Right.
Mexican food.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
I mean,
100%.
might as well.
Yeah.
One in Rome
Yeah, right.
or
In Sparta.
one in Cabo. No, but that was great.
It was fun.
Awesome. A lot of fun.
I mean, struggling right now, but we're good.
I felt like I was working behind
You were.
a city bar.
You were.
You were.
Like I was like
you
I
were
had
shaking half
like
the
I had a
night.
vest on
Mhm.
and
Did you get
I
any
was
good
throwing-
tips?
I got 0 tips.
Oh, next time, put a jar out.
Yeah.
Put a jar out.
That's
Put a
that's
tip jar out next
that's
time.
the one tip I got. Put a jar.
Put a
out.
jar out.
there you go. You're
Boy.
welcome.
Yeah. Well, no, it was a fun night. It was a fun night. So moving a little slower today, but today's topic. So first and foremost, before we get into the topic, like and subscribe. If you're already doing that, thank you. If you're not doing that, head over to YouTube, head over to Instagram, head over to Apple, leave us a 5-star glowing review if you don't mind.
Because we're awesome.
Because we are awesome. And thank you for that. So today's topic is about, it's something that everyone our age can relate to, and probably anyone, whatever age you are, particularly if you're in a relationship, be it married or not, or married by common law or whatever it might be in your
Partner.
your own situation, your partner.
Mhm.
The financial component of what is the amount of money, your max amount of money agreed to in your relationship for which you have to seek permission to go beyond that.
So and I just want to add to that, right? So hopefully a lot of you guys are having this conversation, but I think that it's a conversation that isn't had enough, and it kind of levels the playing field. So I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Neither can your wife.
I know you
Fighting
can't wait
words.
to get into it.
the fighting
It's
words.
funny because James, you I was like, hey, what are we talking about today? And you brought this up. I was like, holy smokes, it's so relevant because Janine and I had this conversation, I don't know, a couple of months ago, a few months ago. We just had this conversation. So
How did Janine like it?
Janine was perturbed.
She was perturbed.
Yeah,
She was. Should we
wasn't-
talk about why? Should we just get into it?
Get in it.
Well, go ahead. I mean, I think the world would love to hear.
Well, let's start with what is
Yeah.
our limit?
Our limit is $300.
It's what?
Ooh,
When?
Right?
You just
It's
It's
$200.
$200. Oh, it's two. Our limit is two. No, yeah.
No, I
200.
proposed 300, and you said I think we should stick to 200.
Okay, so let's talk about it.
I think he upped the limit upstairs when I mentioned the topic.
No.
He was like,
No.
He's like, I had to think about it.
300 is still low.
No. I just don't remember. And what was my reasoning behind the limit? So first, We had a limit. We had a working limit.
And what was the
I don't know
limit?
why you were perturbed. We had a working
I'm going to
limit.
tell you.
But was that limit back in
I won't leave you in
1990?
So,
suspense.
Listen, well,
Yep, hasn't
no,
changed.
Yes, it hasn't
so-
changed.
Okay,
It doesn't
so the
keep
limit,
up with
the
the
limit
cost of
hasn't changed.
living,
So
inflation, nothing.
we've progressed.
Okay, and I just
Get your
want to
popcorn,
say,
people.
Listen, wait.
Round
Let's
one.
not talk over each other.
Fight.
So I
Flawless
will say
victory.
we have progressed in our careers,
Finish him.
and we make substantially an amount more money than we did before, and it did make sense to raise.
Can we
the
talk about
limit.
before? When did we put this limit in place? Because we have our friend, people can't see. We have our friend here who's known us since
Yes.
high school
Yes,
when we lived in the Bronx.
yes, we have an audience.
And we were discussing this topic. And he said, you were upstairs. He said, oh, yeah, I remember your limit. I said, right. When did we set that limit? Where do we live? He's like, you guys are still in the Bronx.
I think you needed to choose a side.
Listen. He didn't know. He was just stating facts, right? We lived in the Bronx.
The wrong
Let me just
side.
think. We only had 2 kids. How many decades? Was it 20 years? Has it been?
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with you.
I'm trying to explain
Mhm.
the amount of time we've had
Yes.
$200 in place.
I think y'all need to up your budget.
It has not even kept up with the cost of living. This is what I'm saying. So you just said a couple of months ago, we're in 2025. So at the end of 2024,
Mhm.
we kept the same limit in place.
Mhm.
I was perturbed. Yes. I would even go to say I was mad.
Okay.
I was not happy because it didn't make any sense to me.
So I think that discussion was more around reaching beyond the limit without having a discussion that the limit should change. That was more of what that conversation was about. Not so much that it didn't change and I didn't change it or it should have changed, but it's because a decision was made to change it without a discussion, or to say this limit should no longer exist, so I'm not going to follow it without a discussion. I think that was the root of that conversation. I understand that the limit probably wasn't the limit probably is lower than it should be, but
It is.
it's not a matter of
It's way low.
and Lee, it's not a matter of you can't spend beyond the
Right.
limit. It's a matter of let's talk about it, because if you spend that, then I spend that, then you spend that, and I spend that without a discussion, then we don't know what's happening with the account. And that happens. You're like, where did all the money go in the account? Because everyone is spending
Right.
and no one is having a conversation. So
Mhm.
the limit is in place not for someone to say no. The limit is in place so that we know we both have an understanding of what's going on in the account.
Oh,
And
Richie.
I think that I did explain that.
You did, and that sounds all nice. But let's like really, that's not the full.
So
There's this belief.
beautiful.
There's a belief
Mhm.
that I do most of the spending, and that I'm spending, right? I'm buying things that maybe it's clothing, right?
Mhm.
So when we had this discussion, we said, okay, I played along with it. Nothing changed, right? Really, what it showed was that the money wasn't going out the door because of my spending habits. It was due to bills, time of the year, right? So it still didn't work. It didn't work.
What do you when you say it didn't work? What do you? And I would love to hear everyone else, because
I don't
this is a discussion, and we're not going to monopolize the entire episode
Yes, we
talking
are.
about us.
Well, the goal of the
it's-
episode is to up your budget.
Right.
What I'm saying is,
the idea
your-
is to
your-
have an
your
understanding, and I
reasoning,
don't.
your
I don't.
explanation
don't-
was to you at the time. You were like, "Well, we need to see where our money's going, right?"
No,
And I want to say this was probably like right before the holidays, maybe like November,
I don't remember.
right?
I know it was a few months ago.
Right.
So
It was
I
a
had-
few months
yeah, so
ago,
probably.
and so we were like, "All right, well, let's see what happens." And it was the same effect.
No, it wasn't. No, that conversation wasn't driven by let's see what happens. That conversation was driven by let's communicate around what's going out of the account.
Right. That's what you said.
No, but that's what I meant. Why would I? That's
because
what I meant. I don't.
The conversation started with. I'm just gonna.
You're reading.
No, I'm not reading.
Because you said
you were. Listen,
that's
I'm
what
not
you
reading.
said.
Yeah, because
saying that I meant something else.
What started it was you saw I had bought a pair of boots. You found the box in the recycling bin.
Mm-hmm.
He asked me how much I paid for the boots. I said $250.
Well, the scan of the box said you paid way more.
Yes, because they were on sale. It did. It said they were $500. Right? You scanned the box.
Oh, hell yeah.
See?
Oh.
So, and okay. So this is the context. See, look at Lisa's face.
Even.
And so I said I spent
you don't want to see my boxes.
I said I spent half because those boots were on sale, and that was the truth, right? So next thing you know, I don't remember if it was later that day or the next day. That is when this other part of the conversation, right?
So now we
so
have to contact.
I see that as you're pointing the finger at me, low key. He didn't come right out and say it, but clearly
because I didn't feel that way.
My spending is being watched, right?
The spend is not being watched. I can't watch
it. You say that.
But you scanned the box.
Right. And can I tell you, I didn't even know he scanned the box till right now. So
I mean, it's not a secret. I wouldn't lie about it.
You didn't lie, but I didn't know about it. Why would I even ask? I have anything to ask.
It was a mysterious box.
You said, well, how much did you pay?
That box went in the trash really quick.
Because it was big. I have a tiny closet.
Apparently, because all the clothes you buy and shoes. You don't have any room.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, yeah.
What do you guys?
Yes.
So that is my perception. That's how I read the entire situation, not just a snippet of it, because they happened it wasn't your intent. That's what you say, but I don't.
How
it
came across?
It
came across different.
It's not just accused. That's how I feel. Yeah. That is how I perceive it.
I get it
because of these things. Well,
my
but you can see how I would connect them, though, right?
So that we can have an understanding of our account and what's
happening.
But
wait, can I just add another piece though? In that same conversation over text, you asked what I thought the new limit should be.
Yes.
And even then, when I proposed a higher limit, you still said what?
That limit was really high.
It was not. What did I say?
$500.
Oh,
check the text. Yes.
Really high.
Check the text.
And where did we land?
Was the receipt?
I thought we landed at 3.
No, we landed at 200, which is where we were
in 1990
for the past 18, 20 years. Is where we've been.
And I'm just gonna. And I wish this conversation would spread out amongst the group and not seem like it's a back and forth.
Ours is we have a healthy budget, and I say that because James likes to buy a lot of equipment and things like that, right? So we set a budget because he doesn't need to be like, oh, I'm going to buy this speaker and it's, X amount of dollars. It's like, you need it, you get it, right? But don't go past that. And if you're going to go past that, then it should be a discussion, right? But yeah, we have a healthy budget, but it's not like we're spending that weekly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know, right? So there could be the potential of it happening weekly. And the point behind the discussion is so that if it does happen weekly, like if she bought a pair of boots this week and then bought like a leather jacket next week, there's an understanding that, you know what, I think I'm going to spend less this month.
So then why not do a monthly budget? And be like, don't go past this in a month. If to buy XYZ,
because
that could be something that could be proposed.
Because it doesn't have to be.
I like that actually.
It doesn't have to be something that's not discussed. And it's. I think that even if it's a weekly budget or a monthly budget, well, if it's a monthly budget, then it's hard. It's hard to get. Like, let's say the budget is $200 or $250, and then you buy a pair of boots, and then I go and I buy a smartwatch, and then you go and you buy something. We stay beyond our budget, but it still adds up to a large amount by the end of the month. So in my head, it's like, how do I mitigate us overspending?
Right.
And the only way to do it is to actually know, is that to understand what's happening. And then I can say, you know what? I wanted that, but I don't need that right now. I can buy it next month.
Yeah.
Or we can, and everything that I buy, I run past you. Everything that I buy, I run past you.
Yeah. I think from my perspective, the way Lisa and I operate, you don't need permission necessarily, but there's a level of discussion that always takes place. I mean, she
Yeah.
might check in once in a while and just say, hey, I want to get these boots. Are we good? She
Yeah.
just does that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a can I, yes or no.
Right.
It is, are we good?
Mm-hmm.
The other way we look at things is this. The paycheck is living expenses, right? All year, full stop.
Mhm.
Bills,
Mhm.
all that stuff. The disposable income, the fun stuff, the shopping, the vacations is bonus.
Right.
And so I separate the two that way. Now, look, I'm not on a spreadsheet mining every single dollar from, you know, a bonus. And fortunate to have a structure where we receive an annual bonus, right? So that's great. But that's how we operate. The bonus stuff is for, it's just that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's knock yourself out.
Mhm.
That's what you kill it all year for. And there's a dollar amount tied to that, obviously. And we probably do max that out. You know, I'm membership Jimmy over here, and so I have memberships to things that I like to spend disposable income on, and or buy a speaker or
Mhm.
something I may not
Monitor or
even need,
something.
but
It's-
it
yeah.
makes me happy,
The
right?
shoes you got on.
The 85 band J's that I just picked up here that you see on screen.
Yeah,
I
those
love
are
them.
beautiful.
Thank you. And we're pricey. And Lisa and I had a discussion.
Mm-hmm, we did.
Our problem when we have that discussion,
Oh yeah.
Lisa's like, you only live once, you need to just get it. And the other problem is it's probably over a couple of old fashions and margaritas. So that's you
Yeah.
gotta watch out when you're doing those things,
Yeah.
right? So we're cognizant of that. So sure, we give ourselves $1,000, like you don't need my permission. And therefore you don't have to look at that price tag and automatically say no. But there's a
Yeah.
level of
There's a
discussion
level.
that
There
takes
is a
place.
level of discussion.
And how we watch it is, you know, I watch the accounts closely. I know what's
Mhm.
going on because I know what's coming in. I know what's
Yeah.
going out.
Mhm.
And we have that discussion. But we don't sit there both and kind of, because again, I use the paycheck is the bills that goes in and out. And that's our agreement.
Yeah.
And then the disposable stuff is just that. When I see that start to get a little hairy,
Yeah.
then we look at each other and
Yeah.
say,
Mm.
maybe we save that for next time, or
Right.
we don't do that.
Mhm.
And that's how we try to justify it in our minds.
Mhm.
As long as we're not touching stuff that could mess with the bills
Right.
and
That
leave
that
us
doesn't
in
get
leave
touched.
us in, you
Right.
know, these situations where, you know, there's more month at the end of the money, which you don't want that to be the
Right.
case. Right. So that's how we
Mhm.
Mhm.
justify it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It
Yeah.
does.
I mean, but like I said, yeah, our budget is healthy, but it's not. We're not doing that every month. It's just it's there. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's not like, oh, I know that I can spend $1,000 every month because you know, and I don't have to discuss it. No, that's not what we do. It's just like, all right, it's there. If you want to go get something, of course, I'm like, hey, babe, I was thinking about getting this.
Yeah.
You know?
Our other approach is to make sure we absolutely max out the savings first. You ever hear the term like pay yourselves first?
Yep.
Yeah, we do that.
Right?
Mhm.
You pay yourselves first. I
Yeah.
know you guys do that. I'm saying, like,
We
for
do that.
folks
Yeah.
on watching
Mhm.
and listening, pay yourselves first. Make sure you're squared away. Manage your stuff that you got to manage, and whatever's left,
Yeah.
just do what you
Yeah.
want.
Mhm.
You know,
I
and
mean,
then
you're not gonna die with it. You know? I'm like,
I mean,
I
I
don't
guess
wanna
my thing
be
is like
old.
$200 is like
Yeah.
But
it's just like, so am I supposed to, because the truth is, right? I shop at Costco, go through $200 easily.
Mhm.
I don't tell
Yes.
you. I just place the order and do what I got to do. It's for the household.
Right.
But what I really hear you saying is, if I want some sneakers and they're $350, we need to talk about that. But I can take that $350 and go to Costco. You know what I'm saying?
I
And
think
I don't need to discuss it.
But I wouldn't weigh those two things the same though.
But it's not about them being the same. It's the dollar
It's the
limit,
amount. The amount is what you said.
right?
Yeah.
That you're saying we need to discuss if it's $200 or more.
Uh,
But the truth is, it's not really about, it's not just the dollars. It's what those dollars are being spent on.
Right.
So you've never said that. It's what I've assessed, because you know that I'm spending, right? If I place an order for Costco, it's not cheap. There's never a, oh, we didn't discuss that.
Right.
So that's not. But
But
that's
I
You know what
kind
I'm
of side
saying?
with
That's
Ramon
not
on
the
that issue
same.
where it's like it's apples and oranges, right? Like you're
I don't
buying
think
for the
so.
house.
Yeah, I don't think so
I don't
either.
think so.
Like
It's the same. It's
I
the
won't
same.
blink.
It's the
I won't
same
blink.
dollar amount though.
But I won't blink
But
at the dollar amount either for food and stuff you need for the
groceries are
house.
groceries. Like
And
I don't.
then, but we should talk
Yeah,
about
but
whether
you
if I'm
also
going to
have the
spend.
healthier budget.
What was that?
You have the healthier budget is what I'm getting at.
Oh,
Right?
shit.
So
Sorry.
when
This
it's
turned
when
into
it's
all
when
right.
it's
So
$200,
this turned
that
into me
is so
defending myself.
low.
Oh, I'm sorry you feel that
Right?
way.
No, it's
Well,
okay.
because
I'm
it's
okay.
it's still this thing that I'm trying to explain from my perspective. It feels very directed at me and my spending,
I don't.
right? Because you're not covering all bases whenever I spend money at Costco
But
or
that's.
anything for the house,
But
right?
I don't. So even when he explained it, right? Because you said that the budget is healthy, and that's why I'm only making this comparison. He mentioned that things like utilities,
Mm-hmm.
the bills, the mortgage, those things aren't. They exist. They're monthly. Groceries fall in that bucket. So I'm not gonna question if we spent $300 at the supermarket because when you buy at Costco it all adds up, or if you go to the supermarket and we decide we want some ribeye this week, like it, yeah, like I understand that the cost is the cost, but it's not I do think that buying a pair of sneakers and going shopping at Costco they don't exactly weigh the same. I think it is apples and oranges.
I see what you're saying, but I think the
and I'm
dollar
good.
amount is the dollar amount.
But it's not. But
And
it's
because
not a,
shopping at Costco is not truly, it's not a necessity. I could go to the supermarket and spend less.
But you know,
I
you
don't
can
need to
get
buy in
you can
bulk.
get the sneakers and you'll keep them longer. You buy the groceries and you shit it out. So I don't know. I go with the sneakers.
yeah, but
Well, let me
I
ask
don't
you-
need. I don't need. I don't
I'm
need.
just saying.
I can go
And
without.
this is why
I could
this is
go
why our
without.
budget is so healthy. You know?
I could go.
We
I could
leave
go-
a lot of margin for error in our budgetary things here, and truth be told, I think my brokerage account might be a little healthier had we tightened up a little things, just
Yes,
to
yes.
to be honest there. But like, I think there's also, where do you value and what you're spending the money on,
Right.
and what does that mean to you?
Mm-hmm.
So if you value the fact that you're trying to, if you're watching it go out because you want to make sure the basics are covered, that's one thing. If you're watching it go out because you want to take a delta and maybe throw that into a brokerage, that's another reason. But if we're not holding ourselves accountable to doing that, then we can't argue with each other about it, right? So then it comes down to a matter of where's the value of the dollar that you're spending and where does that going against, and what does that mean to you? So we have this conversation often too.
Mhm.
Like I'm not going to worry about if my house is at 72 or 68 anymore. I'm not going to. I've actually worked so hard. If I can fly first class, damn it, I'm going to fly first class. Full stop. So it's those types of things where you start shifting your value. So long as what's going on here is covered all the time, everybody's good, things are taken care of. Then you start to, where do you want to put your value?
I mean, I think that's a huge thing, right? Because where we were 18, 20 years ago financially, night and day from where we
Exactly,
are
yeah.
today. I mean, true,
Yes.
our expenses have gone up. We chose to live in a different home and all this other stuff. We have a third child that we didn't have when we put this in place back then. But I think also, do I like to spend? Absolutely. But I'm not out dropping thousands of dollars on things. I probably do it when I do it once a year with my bonus.
Mhm.
I haven't done it in 3 years. I have not made a large purchase in 3 years like that. I haven't.
Okay, but why are you? Where are we
Because
going
I
with
think
this?
it sets this tone of you know me, right? There's never been a precedence of me spending like, I mean, $200 is low, but even $500, $600, like I just don't do that. I would discuss it with you anyway. Even if it was a bill, like I've said to you before, like, damn, the electric bill it's a little high. You know what I mean? Like this month, which I just found out the rates went up, which is why.
Yeah.
But anyway,
They did.
but you know, stuff like that, which it's a utility bill. I mean, we got to pay it. It's not it's not up for a discussion as to whether or
Right.
not to pay it. But like I will say, like, oh damn, it's $200 higher than normal. Like there would be a discussion. I also think we're very good about like making sure we pay everything first. We pay ourselves. We do,
Yes.
all the things,
Mhm.
right? And I'm with you. I am at a certain point in life where certain things I'm like, I work too hard
Yeah.
to have to sit here and be like, how, like, and I say this to you all the time. I think you get annoyed. I'm like, how much money do we have to make so that I'm not cold, so that
Yeah.
I don't have to stress because I want a pair of sneakers that I don't even buy every month. Like there are people who, like
Yeah.
that's their thing.
I don't think that's, but I don't think that's our bar.
What do you mean?
So there are people who buy sneakers every week, but I don't think that's our bar.
No,
I mean, we have
what I'm saying
lots of-
is, right, even recently, I've asked you several times. I'm like, listen, I need a new pair of sneakers. I need you to pick them out.
But you don't need a new pair
I
of sneakers.
do, right? And I do.
You don't need a new pair
I
of
do
sneakers.
because I like them new and clean.
Oh my gosh.
But the thing is, right? I'm not
Can we-
not saying that I want a pair of expensive anything. They could be, I don't know. I just want you to pick them out,
I've
right?
been looking.
But the thing is, how often do I ask for new sneakers?
A lot.
No, it's not. What's a lot? Is that monthly? I don't ask monthly.
I think at least.
No,
Look, I mean,
a few times a year.
no.
Yes, Richie.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm gonna call bullshit.
Janine, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to side with Ramon on this one.
But I'm gonna no. But wait, can I say you probably hear me ask more than once because I haven't gotten them.
Wow. I mean,
It's
I
true.
don't know. I mean, I was with you when we were in the Gucci shop. I mean, I remember I was
Gucci
right,
store?
right
I
next to
need
you
these for
when you made that
London.
purchase.
look,
That was 2
babe,
years ago.
listen, there's nothing. But listen, I want to say there's nothing wrong with what you're saying. There's nothing wrong with what you're saying, and
Except it's over our budget.
I haven't said that. When did I
I'm
say
telling
that?
you, it's over our limit.
No, that's not. I must be doing a poor job of explaining how I interpret this issue. I'm doing a poor job of it because I'm the only one that really gets it.
Well, I
But
think you
will
both
say-
have valid points, right? I see where you're coming from, and I see where she's coming from too. It's just like, how do we get to the middle so we can have a
But I do. So when you said the monthly budget, I didn't understand it at first, but I understand it
Yeah.
now because I think one of you provided more context, and I think that makes sense. It makes better sense than the way we're doing it
yeah,
Mhm.
because
I would agree with that.
then
right?
it's
I think it's a good idea.
it's a number that it remains the same.
Right,
Mhm.
So I don't have to consistently worry about it.
right.
So that way makes more sense. This is a better way of doing it.
Yeah.
And
So see, there you go. You're getting
I wonder if it
I love that,
makes
right?
sense. I mean, because
good
we're in similar places where, from a income perspective, you get you have your pay and the bonus, the disposable income. Would you ever separate out into a separate checking account that disposable piece?
I mean, that's not a terrible idea.
And I don't know if that's a solve. I'm not asking
Mhm.
if we should. I don't know. I just think about that often.
I
I'm
don't
like,
know.
is that
sometimes that
does
stuff
that
is,
help?
We start
manage?
spending it before we get it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
You
then
know,
maybe
it's
you
like we're
actually-
going on that vacation.
Yeah, maybe you might
right?
even
Yeah. Or
exercise
paying
less
off,
discretion.
paying off the vacation
From
you went on last
year.
year. Yeah. Like I think that it would be a good if we can clean slate.
Yeah.
It'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
to take it out and then and work from that. I think it's a great idea. I do think that we have additional luxuries that also tap into that before we can even
Yeah.
separate it.
All the memberships.
The
All the
memberships,
memberships.
and
All the
That's
things,
the
all the
problem.
toys.
the toys.
We have memberships.
memberships and the toys.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done a really nice job of stepping out from sheer frugality into the world of no, because he's
I've
right.
I've
There was a
gotten
point.
way
No,
better.
There was a point where he was just like,
gotten way better.
you
He would
got way
gasp.
better.
he would gasp at
Yes,
certain
he
things,
would clutch
Yeah.
his pearls.
Yes,
and
he
I would be
did.
like,
it's
It's
okay.
okay.
"It's okay,
It's okay.
come on
Okay.
over to the dark side."
No, I'm not trying to go
Because-
that far. So
Because what happens is here's what
I'm not,
happens when
I'm not trying to be
when you
He's
start
not trying to be membership
Emperor
dues.
Palpatine over here.
Yeah.
when you start to
For my
experience
Star
those
Wars.
things, right? Then you're like,
Hmm, not so
Uh-huh.
and
bad.
it changes. It
No.
opens your aperture.
Listen,
It opens your mindset.
so
It
Then it
does.
opens up
Oh,
your.
yeah.
Then you're
Well,
living the world of abundance.
those
right? I'm getting to my
Abundance.
Tony Robbins
yeah.
TED talk over here.
No, no,
right?
thank you.
Then you become you
So-
have an
He's like,
abundance
no, thank you.
mindset.
He's
I'm trying to help
no
Janine
gracias.
out right now.
No gracias. No gracias.
I'm trying to help Janine out right now. You're gonna have an abundance
Look.
mindset, Richie.
I got this one here. I feel nervous every time I buy a plane ticket.
As you should.
I feel nervous for you every time you buy a plane ticket.
Where we sitting?
Because not only does he
Yes.
have you,
Yep.
not only does he have you, then he has me on the side of him like, so
Yeah,
I'm
like,
in
what's
row
up?
4,
Right.
A and B.
Yeah.
It'd be great to see you in row 4, C and D.
Right?
How
And then
much
I look
fun
at it,
would
I look
that
at-
be?
I look at the price.
He's like, how much fun would
Yeah.
that be?
I look at the price.
He's like, fun for who? Fun for whose pocket?
I look at the price. I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I look at my
can I at
points.
least be in row
and I be
11,
like,
9?
my
Can I get the
points.
extra leg room? Can I not be in the middle seat?
I be like, my
Have
points don't
middle
work that
seat.
way. I got checking, and I got savings, and I ain't got enough points to get me in first class.
Oh, my
But
God.
Oh man.
but yes,
It's all about what
I
you
was
value.
extremely. I was extremely. It is about what you value, and I have, I don't know, maybe one vice really. What, like sneakers? I don't know. Do I have
Yes.
any other vices?
Liquor lately.
Yeah, well now
yes.
you've into
So,
the
but now I'm
cocktail
into,
making, yeah.
But for
I'm-
mixology
but I'm a
purposes.
home mixologist.
Yeah. But it's not
Yeah.
cheap.
So and it's
Right.
not cheap, and it's really just for the purpose of blending flavors and layering flavors, and
No, I get it. No complaints. I'm
No.
just saying.
And then it's fun,
become, you know.
but it has become a hobby,
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
and not to drink to get drunk, but to
Yeah.
drink
and
to
taste different.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
taste
So,
the different flavors.
Let me ask you. So, those components, you spend $100 on liquor this weekend.
I
It
spent
was,
more than
he
that.
spent more.
Right.
Yep.
Spent more than
Mhm.
that.
So, then when you do that this weekend, next weekend, and the week after, and you tally your monthly total,
hmm
and it's in the $400 or $500 mark,
Mhm.
how do you guys manage through that?
You mean discussion wise? There
Yeah.
not
There's a discussion.
No, there isn't.
And
Oh,
that
I
wasn't
told
that
You'll
wasn't to set
just
you up.
say,
I
I'm
think
going to go to liquor
Oh,
store to
my
buy
liquor
some
store.
stuff.
my
But
point
That's
was
it.
around like it's kind of the things we put some value in, and that
Yeah.
means
It
a
is.
little
Like Costco.
Yeah.
something
But
to
I don't.
us.
I
right?
don't.
Yeah.
What I
I don't
don't
say
do.
anything. I expect it to be at least $200. Not gonna lie, it's not
Yeah.
100
It's-
because it's a combination of two things happening now. He's restocking and he's
Right.
looking for new stuff,
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
and he's buying. I think where he can like the not the largest,
Yeah.
but he's trying to get
Yeah.
larger size bottles. So it's at least 200.
Yeah.
Right.
But for
I
me,
think-
what I see is I see a level of happiness. I see a
yeah,
level
he's happy. I
when
don't complain
watch,
about it.
but we're all happy because we're all on the
Absolutely.
receiving end of this.
Yeah.
Right? Because this was an amazing cocktail that you set up for
Right.
coming down here to
Yeah.
But it's
support.
like it's something that he enjoys,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
his outlet. That's
Yes.
his like I like doing this.
Yes.
Like I
Yes.
want to put these things together. I like to see the people
Yes.
enjoying my cocktails,
Yes.
you know? So right. So there isn't
Yeah.
you can't put a price on that.
Right.
No,
You
he
know?
likes the
Right.
history
Yeah.
of them. He's
Mhm.
been
Yes.
making these like what do you call them?
Pre-prohibition.
Prohibition. A lot of those, and they're delicious.
Yeah.
You know, I have no complaints about that. But is it has it become the? But he's excited. He goes, he gets a shopping cart.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's loading it
hobby.
up.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
I shop responsibly. So I bought a lot yesterday because we had people coming over. But typically I'll buy 2 to 3 bottles, and I'm looking at how much they cost, and I don't want them to add up too much over $100.
Right.
So I try to be mindful
Mhm.
of that.
And you do it
Um,
when we get paid. Like you
and
try
I,
and
and I
time
do
and
it when
space
we
it
get
out
paid.
a little bit.
So
Yeah.
I don't go every week. I'll do it when we get paid,
Yeah.
and then I'll do it if I want to try something new, or if I follow Anders Anderson on
Oh yeah,
That's his boy.
Yeah,
That's his boy. Yeah.
He's
on
so
YouTube,
cool. Yeah.
and he's
Is that the
amazing.
Psalm?
Yeah, the wine guy.
No, he's not
Wine?
Psalm. He's
Oh, I know you're thinking about with the beanie.
yeah, that's him.
That is him?
no,
That's not
this is a
him.
different
The black guy.
No, but he's great too.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought you were talking
He
about.
likes him.
He's
Yeah.
amazing too.
What's his name?
I thought it was Andre.
Jeez.
No?
Andre.
He said
yes.
this guy was Anders.
This is
What's his name?
Anders. That's Andre.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that, I don't know, it's just, it also takes you back to like history and tasting those drinks too. But I try to be responsible about what I buy, or if we're buying for like a gathering or something like that, then it ticks up a bit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I get it.
He's thoughtful about it.
Yeah.
All my
I know that.
electronic stuff adds up over the year, and some of it for whatever purpose it is, and some of it's just for making me happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, Lisa's Amazon bill makes her happy every month.
Listen, we're not talking about my Amazon.
Her Amazon haul.
You get
Haul?
toothpaste and
Their hauls?
mouthwash and soap, right? All right, I don't wanna hear it.
But hey, that doesn't go in the other bucket. This is in the other bucket.
It's
So
in
that's
that
in
bucket.
That's
It's
in the
house
household bucket.
Yep.
Oh, I've never really like contributed that Amazon bill towards the disposable income bucket, but I feel like there's a huge amount of it that is.
I think like leading up to vacation, yeah, it gets a little more pricey, right? Because it's
Yeah,
like, oh, I
you're
want
buying
that,
stuff.
I want this, I want that, you know.
Mhm.
And
Leading up
it's
to
easy
summer
because it's
and
like,
leading up to
oh,
fall.
I can get it
and
tomorrow,
leading up to-
you know. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, all right.
And listen, I will say that I always want you happy, right? I mean,
Aw.
if you want
Your
something,
face.
if you want something, do we try and go and get it?
Where possible.
You said, where possible. When it's sometimes it's not even reasonable. Sometimes it's just like a want. Like, well, my wife wants it to make her happy. I get it. But sometimes the time or the space, it doesn't always make sense. But
No.
I think that
For the most part.
I think that I
For the most
am.
part.
I do try.
That's why it's like I haven't bought a bag in a while.
Yeah.
I said this year I would, but I mean, you know, Isaiah's program and all that
his
stuff. It's
program,
just,
trying to do the kitchen.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's just too
all
much.
that stuff.
Yeah, so that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we exercised a lot of caution over the last 4 years, just with all the tuition going out
Yeah.
the door.
Yep.
There's tons of stuff. I mean, my damn near walkway is starting to crumble
Yeah.
Yeah.
after 4 years of salt and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and I've got to replace it. And there's
Mhm.
things, you know,
yeah, you can't.
and
do
then
it.
there's personal things that we wanted to do, and we squeak out, and other things get put on hold.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just what everybody does.
And then there's always I tend to make a reason as to why this and not that, or
Yeah.
I do that a lot, right? I'm like, well, I only do it like once every 4 months, so it's fine. You know what I mean? And it's like,
You justify it?
I justify it all the time, just like with the shoes, right? I was like, well, I mean, if you're gonna buy a pair of shoes, buy the ones that you want, right? Like, don't spend your money on two of those other ones that you really don't care for.
Yes.
Get the ones that you want, right?
Right.
And so I try to I justify a lot, but yeah,
I-
because in my mind it makes sense. Right?
But I agree, right? And it's
Thank you for that, by the way.
But there's truth in that, because even like maintenance, you guys don't really have it, but like women, I hear a lot of women talk about doing their hair, like coloring, cutting. It's
it's very
it's very expensive over the past, I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
It's like it's like $300 to $400.
Yep.
This is what I'm hearing, right?
It is.
And so people try and justify that. It's like, I need to do it.
Right.
But it's the thing that a lot of people can't afford to do, you know,
Yeah.
maybe monthly. How often would you, if you could do it?
It's
Every
probably
6
like
weeks.
6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, people stretch it. They're
Mhm.
going every 3 to 4, every
Yeah.
quarter, kind of, to, you know, it's like, I want to do the thing, but it's so expensive.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to justify
Like,
some of that stuff.
God, the last time that I went actually got my hair done was probably like last year, and I'm
Yeah.
going next week.
Yeah.
And it was a struggle. I was like, I do not want to pay this amount
Yeah.
for my hair.
Yeah.
But I was like, my grades are coming out. I was like, this is happening. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, this is.
Yeah, like,
I'm like, I gotta do this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, it is a $300-$400
Yeah.
bill,
Yeah.
and I'm like, for hair.
Yeah.
For hair. I'm like, I don't
you know what I would
It's a
give
lot.
for hair?
I'm good without hair. I think I would
I,
look crazy.
I don't. You wouldn't look crazy. But I mean, but we are saving money there because, and I guess I'm gonna sound old. I remember when haircuts were $8.
Mm. They're $30 now.
Well, our son was like
$30.
Gavin goes.
That's crazy. It's
he
like
paid 50.
He paid 50 now,
Yeah.
tip included.
Yeah, with tipping 50. He's
now
like,
he's
I
up
don't
to
know how.
50
He's like, I don't know
bucks
if I can keep going.
for
Yeah.
these kids just get like whatever
He's
they
gonna need a bowl cut,
mullets
too.
and
Yeah.
they get the side shaven and they got a little bit of mullet V-neck mullet
$50?
going
Yeah.
on.
But
Yeah.
he's been going to him since he was like 14.
Yeah,
And he's like, that's my guy. But he's like, I get, the inflation
Yeah.
prices going up and things like that. But he's like, damn.
what
he's
is
like,
the
ugh.
inflation? Clippers? Like I don't.
Rent?
I don't know. I just think because
Utilities.
it's
You
actually
see it in the bills.
Yeah.
I think it's
All
just
right.
trend.
Okay, I can get that.
I
Look,
don't know.
I mean, hey, it's another trade. People, hey,
Yeah.
you might want to consider being a barber because
Right.
apparently
killing
it's
it.
pretty lucrative.
Well, this is the time for the trades.
Yeah.
More than the private equity play is bigger than ever before. People are buying plumbers and HVAC companies left and right. So if you ever want to build a business, but anyway, that's a different
That's a different episode.
day.
But
Anywho.
yeah, all right. So back to our. I mean, back to not ours because I don't want to talk about ours anymore. Just,
It's enough
just
about me.
period.
Let me talk about
So
you.
does it make sense to have a number?
I think, yes, you have to have a number. And I do like for the month, right?
I like that. And it's easier to track.
It's easier to track because you're like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, I know that I spent. And in your head, you're like, okay, I did that, I did this, and this cost that amount. And then it's like, all right, I don't really need that extra.
Mhm.
Or I'm just going to leave it the way it is,
Mhm.
or I have that extra, so I'm
Mhm.
going to go and buy that.
I love the idea because when I
Mhm.
ran, I did the worst thing in the world.
Why?
ever. I did the worst
I
thing
know.
in the world. I ran an Amazon tally for
Mhm,
2024.
Nope. I'm not here.
You want to share that number?
No. No, he does not.
I remember one year, this was years ago, you did that for alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember? That's a
Yep.
scary number too.
That was
That was a scary number,
Mhm.
but I
Yeah.
ran it for Amazon, and it was a small salary for like a freshman out of college.
Right. But I'm not going to take full blame on that one because our son is also on our account.
Oh yeah, and you buy a lot of household stuff from it.
I
It's
have-
not
I-
just
yes.
like yeah,
Like we are subscribed for like laundry detergent,
yeah,
toothpaste,
yeah.
Not placing
body
blame,
wash.
Yeah.
just
I'm just saying.
it's helpful to say when we think about the monthly thing. Let's I like that
Yeah.
idea,
I think it's a good
right?
idea.
That I think you're on
Mhm.
board with.
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean, it was
we
my
can look
idea.
at that. Yeah, since it's your idea, I'd like to put it in play. Right?
All
Let's
right.
let's put it in execution.
Uh-huh.
Are we gonna
And let's
revisit
see.
this?
But now we got it. Now we got it.
We should revisit.
But,
We
you know,
should revisit.
but we
now,
should
now we need to talk about dining
think-
out.
yeah,
I was
no,
just,
we're
I was
not-
just about to
no.
say that because what we were saying right before we started to record was that there is a thing with the time of the year, right? So right now it's cold. You've noticed we have a lot more money in our account because we're going out, but it's not like what we would do in the summer. We're not
Right.
vacationing, all that stuff, right? But summer comes and we start to feel it in the fall because we're recovering
Yep.
from all the fun we had in the summer,
All the dining
and
out.
all the dining out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe we have to figure out, I guess, then how to offset some of that,
Right.
right? So if our monthly limit, let's just say is $1,000, then do we cut back on that to allow more money to go into
To the summer?
the
Well,
summer fund bucket,
Yeah.
something like that.
I do. I like that, and I think it's even. I think we could hold each other accountable to that because when we're out, we're probably amongst us, if
Yeah,
not
Yeah.
a couple
we're
other
together.
people, and we could hold ourselves accountable to saying, you know what, let's order in, let's grill out on the deck,
Yeah,
Mhm.
let's
do more of that.
a little bit
Yeah.
more of that. Let's
Yeah.
keep it home. I'd rather do that and have my homegrown mixologist here
Yeah.
Do
Right? Put the
that.
money into that.
put the money on
Yeah.
that end.
Yeah.
Right, and then I play some music, you mix some drinks. I mean, it could
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
Mhm.
And most times the drinks are better.
Yeah.
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 Because I find that like that. I mean, that's the other thing about I think being this age and financially right. Like the quality of the ingredients you guys are buying for food, for drink, like it is, and sometimes better than when
Yeah.
we eat out.
Yep.
Mhm.
So I mean, I'd rather do that. Put the money into that, and then we stay home and
Tomahawks at
save.
home.
Yeah.
Now, I'll caveat that with we should do some reallocation of funds into the bartender for the pool. So if we're going to be staying home, there's a little bit of a reallocation of funds that we should, maybe Elizabeth could come by a little more
Here we
often this
go.
summer.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
I thought we were trying to save money.
That's what I thought too.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
you could possibly save money and have a differentiated experience.
People don't know what she's talking
So he's
about.
justifying.
You got to
See?
explain
I kind of rubbed off
right?
on him. Now he's justifying, right?
He's talking about a private bartender.
I don't know.
At
He
his
used a
home,
whole bunch of big words.
Poolside.
It's a differentiated
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
it's like
taking it
we can
fancy.
have a bartender make our drinks every weekend instead of
At the
going
pool.
out.
Poolside, right?
Let's
So instead of going
call
out,
a
we're just
spade
going
a
to bring
spade.
all these pieces to us.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what
Bring
we're doing.
everything to us.
Yep.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
Next, he'll have the hibachi.
oh, yeah.
And that's.
Oh, yeah. I already said that this year. I wanted to.
Yeah, she already wants the hibachi back again in the
It's so
backyard.
fun.
All right. Well, hey, this has been great. See, we recovered
Mhm.
nicely. We added a little bit of controversy to the episode, which was some audience feedback. A little bit of controversy. Right? We stepped it up a little
I
bit.
feel like it was a
It's
healthy
healthy.
debate.
Healthy
It
debate.
was.
Healthy debate.
Mm-hmm.
All right, friends. Well, thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Friends After 40 podcast. Catch us where you can. Subscribe, like, do all the things, and we'll catch you all on the next episode of Friends After 40.
Later.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you enjoy this episode, then do two things for us. One, share it with your friends. And two, leave us a glowing 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel as well. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Friends After 40 podcast.